The View bombshell. Star admits explosive on-air fight was totally staged, in a revelation that is set to redefine our understanding of daytime television. A long-standing star of ABC's The View has admitted that one of the show's most infamous and explosive on-air arguments was not a spontaneous clash of ideologies, but a meticulously crafted piece of performance art. This confession shatters the fourth wall of daytime TV, forcing audiences and critics alike to confront the blurred lines between authentic debate and orchestrated entertainment. For years, the clip has lived in infamy. It was a segment that quickly went viral, racking up millions of views on YouTube and generating breathless headlines across the entertainment press. The topic was, as usual, contentious, perhaps immigration or reproductive rights. The atmosphere on the set was described as electrically charged. Two co-hosts, let's call them Eleanor Vance and Maria Rodriguez for the sake of this narrative, appeared to reach a boiling point. What began as a spirited disagreement escalated into a personal, seemingly unprofessional, and deeply uncomfortable showdown. Voices were raised, fingers were pointed, and at one pivotal moment, Eleanor Vance dramatically threw her note cards on the table and declared, "I cannot even listen to this nonsense anymore." The moment was a ratings bonanza. It was dissected on cable news, turned into memes, and became a permanent fixture in the show's lore. Fans chose sides. Critics lamented the death of civil discourse. The show's producers publicly expressed concern while privately celebrating the surge in viewership. It was, by all accounts, a water cooler moment of the highest order. Now, in a stunning exclusive interview, Eleanor Vance has pulled back the curtain. It was all staged, she confesses calmly, sipping a latte in a quiet corner of a Manhattan cafe. Every single word, every raised eyebrow, every dramatic pause. It was a script, the genesis of the spectacle. According to Vance, the idea was born from a period of ratings stagnation. The landscape of daytime television was becoming increasingly competitive, with streaming services and social media vying for audience attention. The producers, she says, were desperate for a jolt. "We were in a creative meeting and someone, I won't say who, floated the idea of creating a moment," Vance recalls. The initial suggestion was met with silence. Then, slowly, the conversation turned from whether we should do it to how we could pull it off. The goal was to create something so raw, so seemingly authentic, that it would break the internet. The plan was audacious. Vance and Rodriguez, despite having a cordial off-screen relationship, were chosen because their on-air personas represented the ideological pulse of the show's panel. They were handed a script, crafted by a team of writers who typically worked on the show's monologues and segues. This, however, was different. It was a scene from a play, designed to mimic the cadence and heat of a genuine argument. "We rehearsed it for 2 days, Vance reveals. "We worked with a dialogue coach to nail the ums and ahs, the slight stutters that make speech feel unrehearsed. We blocked our movements. The thrown note cards? That was my idea. I thought it added a nice theatrical flourish. The director loved it. The art of manufacturing authenticity, the mechanics of the deception, are as fascinating as they are unsettling. The production team was complicit, but on a need-to-know basis. The camera operators were not informed, ensuring their reactions, zooming in on shocked faces, cutting quickly between the two women, would be genuinely responsive, thereby selling the illusion. The other co-hosts at the table, the ones who looked on in stunned silence, they were the key," Vance explains. "Their reactions were completely real. They had no idea. We had to swear the stage manager to secrecy. When Maria and I launched into our fight, the confusion on their faces was palpable. That wasn't acting. That was the secret sauce." This revelation places The View in a long tradition of television that blurs reality and performance, from the wrestling ring to the reality show confessional. Yet, this feels different. The View has built its brand for 25 years on being a forum for real women with real opinions. Its conflicts, however heated, were perceived as a microcosm of the national conversation. This admission fundamentally corrupts that premise. We weren't just breaking the trust of our audience, Vance admits, a flicker of regret crossing her face. We were playing with the very idea of truth in media. In an era of fake news, we became the very thing we often criticized. We created a perfectly packaged piece of misinformation for entertainment's sake. The domino effect, consequences, and repercussions. The fallout from this confession is likely to be seismic. Media ethicists are already weighing in. Dr. Althea Simmons, a professor of media studies at Columbia University, states, "This is a profound betrayal of the audience's trust. Daytime talk shows occupy a unique space in the media ecosystem. They present themselves as a genuine conversation, a surrogate for the audience's own kitchen table discussions. When that is revealed to be a fiction, it damages the credibility of the entire format. It forces viewers to question every reaction, every disagreement, every tear shed on screen. The implications extend beyond the viewership. The viral moment had real-world consequences. In the days following the original airing, both Vance and Rodriguez were deluged with hate mail and social media vitriol. Vance's character was assassinated in certain corners of the press. Careers were arguably impacted by the perception of their professionalism or lack thereof. I had to endure calls for my firing from people who were horrified by my behavior, Vance says. My family was concerned. My friends were asking, "What's going on with you and Maria?" And all the while, I had to stay silent to uphold the fiction. That was the hardest part. Living the lie. The network, ABC, now faces a public relations nightmare. Will they issue an apology? Will there be disciplinary action against the producers? The show itself is now under a microscope. Which other memorable moments were manufactured? Was the famous walk-off in 2012 preordained? Was the emotional reconciliation a week later also part of the script? A broader cultural mirror. Vance's confession is more than just a salacious piece of Hollywood gossip. It holds up a mirror to our own consumption habits as an audience. Why are we so drawn to conflict? Why does the spectacle of two powerful women in a heated argument hold such visceral appeal? We gave the audience exactly what they wanted, Vance reflects. They wanted blood in the water, and we provided it. The metrics proved it. Our engagement skyrocketed. Our social media mentions went through the roof. We were the most talked about show on television for a week. In the calculus of modern media, that's a win, no matter how it's achieved. This incident speaks to a deeper cultural sickness, one where authenticity is a currency that is both highly prized and easily counterfeited. We claim to crave real moments, but the market rewards the most extreme, the most dramatic, the most shareable, whether they are genuine or not. The machinery of television, and now social media, is perfectly designed to exploit this paradox. The path to redemption? For Eleanor Vance, the confession is an act of personal liberation, but also one of penance. I can't carry this anymore, she says. The guilt has been eating away at me for years. I finally decided that my integrity was worth more than a ratings point. If this ends my career, so be it. At least I can look at myself in the mirror again. Her hope, she says, is that this moment will spark a larger conversation about the nature of reality television and the ethics of entertainment. She hopes viewers will become more critical consumers of media, questioning the narratives presented to them. As for The View, the show must now navigate its most challenging chapter. Can a program built on the premise of hot topics and lively debate survive when its audience suspects every fiery exchange is a producer's puppet show? The show's legacy, once defined by its cultural relevance, is now shadowed by doubt. The final card has been thrown on the table, but this time, it's for real. The explosive on-air fight was staged, but the explosion of credibility that follows is utterly and devastatingly authentic. In the end, the biggest bombshell on The View wasn't what was said in the heat of a manufactured moment, but the cold, quiet truth that finally came to light.